Hello and welcome to Rule of Three's video review for Far Cry 3, a first-person open-world game from Ubisoft. With me is Impressions. How you doing today?
Doing all right. A little bummed that you pulled me from Far Cry, but I'll live with it.
Yeah, good old Far Cry. And Sinister cannot be here. He has to work. We had some technical difficulties with the original recording of this, which he was in. So we're sorry, Sinister. So with that, we will start talking about Far Cry 3. So I want to start off with obviously we tend to start off or let's start off with the comparisons between one and two. I've never played any of the previous Far Cry's. Have you?
No, I have not.
Okay. So the two of us could not tell you the differences. However, Sinister did has played the originals, and what I got from him was there wasn't a whole lot of differences. I mean, the gameplay was apparently still pretty much the same, except for they got rid of the gun deterioration.
Yeah, I heard about that as a feature that was unique as far as the current crop of games when Far Cry 2 came out. That was one of the few games out there that was taking advantage of a mechanic like that. And while I would have liked to have seen that in 3, just to see, you're already dealing with survival as it is. It would be, I feel it would have been a nice additional element to add into that mess of things.
Yeah, having not played two, I don't know how well it worked in it. But there's another game that has weapon deterioration, and I can't remember the name of it.
Well, I don't know about another FPS, but there were similar concepts like that in Metal Gear Solid, where the suppressor would deteriorate.
Yeah,
It's a simpler version, but it's not unprecedented, obviously.
right. I just remember there's a game that had a very. I do remember you used the weapon and it would break over time. I just can't remember what game it was. It was a first person shooter game. Like I said, I can't remember what it was off the top of my head. If
Well,
somebody knows.
I don't know about FPS. There's Minecraft.
No, not Minecraft. I don't play Minecraft.
Well, for future, just FYI, then the weapons do deteriorate in there. Where swords, the bow and arrow, you use them too much, they have their own health bar, and you do an element of that is you have to repair those or maintain them, otherwise they break in the middle of combat. And
Go figure.
if a game as simple as Minecraft could run that, I can only imagine that Far Cry would do it exponentially better.
Okay. So with that, let's actually talk about Far Cry again. Let's start with the storyline. What did you think of the storyline?
I think it was pretty good. A little background on me, as you all know, I don't care for RPGs, and I went into this one, I guess, knowing it was an RPG. Though the action RPG, that's what made me willing to try it. Uh, I gotta say that the story drew me in pretty well. It starts off with a seemingly idyllic vacation, and then little do you know that it's actually a flashback of a video that someone is showing you, uh, and you are already captured at the mercy of these pirates. And I have still yet to get a clear idea of what went on, as far as I am in the game. So it's a combination of I want to see what happens, I'm going to keep playing, but at the same time the game is pretty fun. Let's focus on the story first. What did you think about it?
I liked it. It got kind of wonky a little later in, a little more confusing, kind of weird. I did. It was enjoyable. It did draw me in. It was a little better than I thought it would be. I was expecting just your capture, get off the island storyline, but they up the stakes fairly early on,
Well,
and
let's
they don't really drop.
yeah. Well, you say we were going to talk about Voss. I guess now's a good time to mention him.
Yeah.
As far as the story, he propels the story so well. I mean, he's the first face you see literally, as far as present day in the game,
Yeah.
and you immediately hate the guy. It's like, oh my god, I want to kill you, but I'm probably not going to get to until the end of the game.
That's because the first time you see him, he's just insulting you, and he's just crazy. I mean, the guy is generally nuts.
Yeah, it's one of those insane, but as you mentioned when we were talking earlier, very intellectual at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, he may be he's obviously nuts, but he still knows what he's doing as far as keeping the pirates in check, making sure he's hunting hunting you down correctly. He's captured a fair amount of your friends as part of the story, and he's not just a pushover, obviously.
Right. Well, and every time you think you got him, he has a trap already set up for you.
Hmm.
So I mean, the guy loves to torment you and give you kind of a ray of hope and then take it away.
Hmm. So very engaging and
Yeah.
I want to kill this person type villain,
Which is
which does works well with the story.
yeah. How far in the game did you get? Just out of curiosity, or are you right now?
Like, well, I want to say I put at least 10, maybe 12 hours into it, which is the
What
most I have done for a game.
what story mission are you on?
Story mission, I met the FBI agent or CIA agent, and I did like the first two missions with him.
Ha! I've caught up.
Oh, you did catch up. Okay.
Caught up. Sorry, in the previous recording, he was way ahead of both Sinister and me. I have not caught up, so
Okay.
I'm happy now.
Okay. So, but let's take a side note then. What did you think about the music when you were doing that mission with the flamethrower?
Okay, so spoil. Well, I can't say it's really a spoiler because it's all over the internet. There's a mission? I think it's story mission 5. You go to a marijuana field and you have to burn it
With the flamethrower?
with the flamethrower, and
Optional Molotov and explosive canisters, but same
yeah,
point.
it
Same
has reggae techno music, like reggae dubstep,
reggae dubstep.
reggae
Yeah.
dubstep, and I
like-
couldn't stop smiling because I'm like, really? I
It's-
like it, but it was just like, really?
Well, yeah, it's if you tell somebody, "Hey, listen to this reggae dubstep," they'll probably give you this weird look. It's like, "What the hell is wrong with you?" And then you start playing the game and you're burning this marijuana field and you just bob your head the entire way.
No, it's just then you have all the guys coming. It's just like do, and
Well, that and it was a pretty long mission.
Yeah.
Maybe not long, but it was hard to get through it. And I died maybe 2 or 3 times during that mission, and then the music starts all over again. So yay!
well, it infinitely loops until you beat the level. But
Should we give a little sampler to our listeners? I happen to have it.
do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, play a little bit. Hopefully you can hear it if you're listening.
I'll put it up to the mic. All right. So here is techno dubstep, a mix mashup between Skrillex and Damian Marley Jr. I'm assuming I don't know if I can assume a relation there to Bob Marley, but I wouldn't be surprised. All right. So it's called "Make It Bun Dem."
Make it fun, then we must up the bass, turn up the bass and make some sound. Why run? And we will end the week just like a Sunday.
Oh yeah, that was just a little sampler because I Shazammed it while I was playing.
Yeah.
Thank you, Shazam, for a little snippet there.
Yeah, it's like I said, even when we're listening, I'm still just kind of sitting here smiling because I'm one of those, like I said, I like dubstep. And I didn't think, when you told me earlier that it was reggae dubstep, I didn't think it would work. And it puts a smile on my face. I do like it.
Yeah, dubstep has been recently just very overdone, and it's nice to hear a surprisingly successful.
Wub wub.
Yeah, there we go, successful wub. So yeah, if you like it, message us on Facebook, share your thoughts, or put it on our comments on our main page.
Yeah, because like I said, I think that's the best song in Far Cry 3. Honestly, I think it's the best music in the game.
I'm glad I actually made it to that part. I wasn't. I don't know. I'm just made. The experience has just been complete for me now.
Yeah. Okay, so let's now move on to something completely different. Let's talk about some of the gameplay elements. I want to start off with let's start with hunting and crafting because it's one of the systems I enjoyed in this game a lot, more so than I think any other game that's had crafting lately. How about you? This general idea, and then we'll go into detail.
Well, hunting. Let's hunting first.
Let's talk about hunting first.
First off, I got a comment on the AI and the animals. They're just. It's surprising that the animals are actually smarter than the people, the human AI. Yeah. They will hunt you down. I mean, the people with the guns too, but they will stop within a certain range. But the animal will chase you to the ends of the earth if possible. But just wherever you are on the island, they will hunt you down.
Especially tigers and panthers.
Tigers, panthers. My unfortunate first experience was with a leopard.
Really?
Yeah, that was just it's. At the same time, it was kind of like an oh shit moment, but I couldn't help being impressed with the AI because you're sitting there in the wilderness just trying to accomplish some random tasks, and then you hear this growl. And it's like, what does it sound? Okay, it's probably just background noise. It's probably just background noise. Okay, I'm going to focus on this. And then, okay, all right, I'm going to attack this village, and then suddenly, bam, I get sideswiped by a leopard, and I'm pinned on the ground by it. It's like, so that's just a small tidbit as to how, the kind of experience you get when, well, being hunted for that matter.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I had a similar experience. Yeah, I was walking around because I was trying to find pigs to hunt because I needed the pig skin, and I'm just going about my day, and then all of a sudden a tiger just runs out and starts attacking the pigs. I'm like, what the heck? And then of course it takes out the one or two that is in the area, and then I'm like, okay, I'll just wait for the tiger to leave and then go collect my skins. The tiger then turns and starts attacking me, and I'm like, damn it! And I was hiding in bushes too, and it still found me.
it's the pathfinding programmed into the game is pretty well done. You hop on the other side of a rock or a wall. The animal still knows you're there. It will, if it's one of the aggressive animals, it will find a way around and come at you.
Yes.
So yeah, as far as the hunting is concerned, you mentioned. I mean, not only are you hunting creatures with pretty decent AI, they are also hunting you. Should you be careless enough to let them get the drop on you, which happens quite a bit.
Yeah, well, it's funny because the map, when you find the radio towers, we'll talk about radio towers in a little bit, but it'll eliminate where certain animals are, and you'll be in a complete an area that doesn't even have any carnivorous animals anywhere nearby, and one of them will randomly show up and start attacking you because they just happen to be in that area as well, hunting the other animals.
Yeah, that's part of that's. I guess we can mention this now. Just the way this particular sandbox is designed is the world continues on with or without your input. It's ongoing,
Yeah.
and maybe certain things are triggered by your presence, but for the most part, as far as I'm concerned, the entire island is living and breathing on its own, regardless of where you are, and whether or not that results in a couple animals being pushed towards you or whatever may happen. It happens independently, and you pretty much just join in on the experience.
Yeah. So with that, like I said, the reason for hunting these animals is so you can collect skin. You can also hunt or technically gather certain plants, and you do this in order to craft items.
Okay.
I felt the crafting system was really well done. Unlike Assassin's Creed, if you read my review on that, I kind of went off on it. I went off on it as being terrible. This is what I think it should have been like, is the crafting system they have in Far Cry. Is everything you make is very useful. It takes some effort, but it doesn't take a long time to craft it. And they're not required to craft, but they make things so much better.
Well, the main reason it's so much easier is because you choose the item you want to craft, and it'll tell you whether or not you have the ingredients to do so. Whereas in Assassin's Creed, for example, as far as contrast, they give you the recipe, and you have to, or sometimes they don't even give you the recipe at all. You just have to guess which elements go or which ingredients go together, and you look at the finished product. So that is just a lot more demanding on time and experimentation, which it can be a good element, but when it's not the focus of the game, it's a little complicated. It's a little unnecessarily complicated. Whereas Far Cry has it plain and simple. You want to craft a ammo pouch, you need this skin, or you want to craft a special arrow, you need one arrow and a grenade. Simple as that.
Yeah, it's very simple, and it's not that I'd like it simple, but I don't. I just felt that everything I craft had a use. Once again, going back to Assassin's Creed, that was my main issue with it. Is 95% of stuff I didn't need to craft. This one, I felt like when I crafted, it meant something.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of the first things I did in the game was start upgrading a lot of my stuff and doing the crafting. And enjoyed it.
Yeah, well, that's actually what drove the gameplay for me, is because you start off with a pistol,
and that's
and then naturally you want to pick up a gun. So okay, cool. I pick up another gun. Wait, I dropped the pistol. That means you can only, and you've learned very quickly that you can only carry one gun at a time. So that then prompts you to make another weapon holster, which requires a certain type of skin. So you go and get said skin, and then you realize that it's basically each crafting experience leads you to find that you need something else naturally, just to make your progression, make the gameplay simpler or more convenient for you. It wasn't spelled out. You kind of figured it out on your own based on what you needed to craft, what you needed to do, and you just went and did it. The more effort you put into crafting, the better your gameplay experience or the ease of it would be.
Yeah. So, like I said, I really enjoyed the crafting, and with that, we will now move on to the next gameplay element, which is, well, I'll kind of lump it all into exploration, which is, I'm going to say radio towers, which are very important, driving, gliding, and boating, as well as hidden items.
Yeah, exploration and move. Okay, yeah, movement. Go.
So, on top, so we'll start off with radio towers because that's the most basic of all of them. Each area of the map has a radio tower that when you get to you have to climb, and once you get to the top, it illuminates the area of the map that the radio tower is good for, and it will show you what items are in the area. Not everything, but a couple of relics and hidden items, as well as tell you what animals are in the area. And
as well as the enemy bases as well.
Bases, which we'll talk about bases once again in a little bit.
It's a system very reminiscent of Assassin's Creed, Brotherhood, and onwards.
Yeah.
As far as the tower system, wherein you have to you synchronize at the top of the tower and you capture it.
Yeah, and that's pretty much all this is go up and sync with the area. However, it also unlocks free guns.
Yes, the story-wise, the more radio towers you have unlocked, the better communication and travel is for the inhabitants of the island, and by extension, that enables them to get more products into their stores, and to repay you, they give you free access to weapons of your choosing, limited, of course, with each tower that you unlocked.
Right, well, each tower, I think, has a corresponding gun or something. Because I know once you get to a certain point, they start unlocking, like, hidden guns as well.
Oh, so it's location-based, not
I think so.
number? Okay.
I think so. I'm not 100% sure. Once again, in the comments, if I'm wrong, tell us, because I don't know how radio towers guns work. But from what I've seen, I'm pretty sure they're location-based is what you get.
Okay, well, confirm that, I guess, if you want to comment on that, anybody. Or we'll update that as we...
Yeah, as we go. So anyway, but that's pretty much all for radio towers. But it would have been nice to know about, because I knew you got free, like, guns for doing the radio towers. I just didn't realize that it would eventually pretty much give you every gun for free. I thought it'd take a few, like, every 3 or 4 towers you got a free gun or something.
Yeah, no, it was like every tower you get, like, another 2 or 3.
Yeah, so I think I have half the map open. I already own every gun, and I paid for, I think, 3 of them, which I apparently didn't even do.
Which makes you wonder what is to come with each of the upcoming towers.
Have you gotten any of the specialty items yet?
Well, I got the bow and the repair tool.
Well, not those. They're special guns. Like there's a stealth pistol and a better shotgun or something like that.
Oh no, I have not. I got the flare gun, which is next to useless, but
awesome.
It's fun to use, but I hate that it takes up one of my slots and I have to go to a store just to fire off one shot.
Yeah.
It has its use, but I don't want. There's no need to carry that around unless you intend to screw around a bit.
No, there's not. But no, they unlock like special guns.
All right.
That are really, really good. But I don't know. Once again, if you unlock every radio tower, if you eventually get those for free, I highly doubt it because they're pretty good. So then let's move on to actually getting around the map. For me, I hated driving, liked gliding, and boating. How about you?
You hated all of them?
No. I liked gliding and boating, but I despised driving in that game.
Driving was actually one of the elements I enjoyed.
Hated it.
I think it was very well done. I mean, it's off-roading with cars that really aren't meant to be off-road. And the physics was very accurate. You're not going to get a lot of traction, so you end up sliding a lot. You don't have a lot of control over the vehicles. But if you do build up a lot of speed, it's fun. You end up drifting. You will flip your car if you do it wrong.
And that's why I don't like this game.
If you are driving uphill on an incline and you don't have enough momentum, you will roll backwards.
Yep, I do like that.
And another nice little touch they have in the game is if you, for whatever reason, drive your car into the water, you will sit in the water, still in first-person view in the seat, until you so choose to exit the car and jump and swim back out. It's a nice little, it doesn't automatically eject you. You still have to get out of the car.
Yeah, it's a nice little touch. But I don't know. I didn't like apparently this is how, once again, Sinister, having played the previous ones, the driving pretty much has always been this way. I don't like it being so touchy-feely
Mhm.
in terms of traction because there's a couple of areas you have to be kind of forced to drive in a couple of missions, and I would just flip every 40 seconds. I'd go up a very slight hill because I need to turn around and try to do a little cut, and I'd flip mainly in ATVs. Cars I didn't have as big a problem in, but like ATVs drove me nuts.
Yeah, they basically any little bump in the road threw that thing off.
Yeah, and it flipped you over. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, but I don't know. I take it as it is. I think it's uh, justified based on the person's inexperience and the fact that you're aside from the ATV, these cars really aren't meant to be driven on this
Well,
type of
yeah,
island.
well, then I'm not a driving person.
Yeah.
I've never. There's very few games I like the driving in.
Mm.
I think one of the recent ones is Sleeping Dogs, so that's a different story. So with boating, that was really simple.
Boating was basic.
Yeah,
No particular innovations there.
yeah, but that felt like how boating should. And then gliding, I thought was really fun.
Gliding was fun. It was a good alternative way to travel, especially if you didn't want to walk. Uh,
Yeah,
I actually found myself looking for gliders. Like, okay, I have to walk 600 yards. There's got to be a hang glider somewhere near here. They're
yeah.
actually fairly, and they're fairly spread out during the game or throughout the game. They're not everywhere, but
But they're all on top of like really tall cliffs.
yeah, they're in reasonable. They're in locations that would, that justify that. Like it's reasonable that you would find one there just because it'll either show off the graphics or it'll help you travel to an island where you don't really have access. It lets you avoid the pirates on the ground level. They don't see you up there, obviously.
Right. Well,
And
it's always fun to drop on them with the.
yeah, they'll see you.
I know, but you can get kills if you do it right. Just drop on them. It's kind of fun.
Yeah. Oh, if you do the execution thing.
Yeah,
Okay. Right, okay. I didn't try that. I should try that.
do it. It's fun. It's hard, but it's fun.
No matter how high you are, if you execute it.
No, you'll die if you drop from a certain height still.
Okay.
But if you kind of go right above them and drop, it's kind of fun to kill
That's
them
cool.
that way.
All right, I'll give that a shot then.
You get an achievement for that.
There was
Just
another thing
no.
that I did for fun, which just makes the hang glider that much more fun for me. Um, I took off from a particular location, Dr. Earnhardt's house. Yeah. There was a tower to the east that I needed to capture, and I flew the glider to the tower, and it actually let me fly directly over the tower and drop off on the top level. It's the fact that I was able to do it, I feel, is just a credit to the open world and creativity that the game allows. It hurt physically the character, but the fact that I was able to do it, that the engine let me do it, I feel is it's props for me to the game.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay, so on that, let's talk about falling in this game. You're not allowed to fall from that high, which I kind of like.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's realistic height.
Yeah, it's really the fall distance is pretty realistic until you get the 25% reduction.
What is it like if it was in reality? Is it like 10 feet?
I think it's 20.
20? Okay, 20 feet. No, lower than that. I'm pretty sure I've jumped from way lower and still gotten hurt.
Well, I'm not talking about insta kill. You get hurt at 10 feet, yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I'm talking about like insta death.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, the reason I guess I've died from lower is because I was already hurt running away from a crowd or from an army or something.
Now.
Okay.
Every time, like I said, fall damage. Unlike most games, to where if they have fall damage, it's either like super unrealistic, you can fall from a really high distance, still live, or it's I kind of go, what the hell, that wasn't high enough. This game feels right. Like every time I've died from a high fall, I'm like, okay, I'll take it.
Yeah, the only thing they are forgiving on is if you land in water.
Yes.
No matter how high you fall from, as long as the water is a swimmable depth, as far as the game parameters are concerned, you will live.
Yep, which is fine. I don't mind that.
Which you can use to your advantage. It's not exactly realistic, but again, it's a game, right?
Yeah. Okay, so with that, I want to go into the last bit of exploration.
Well, yeah, let's cover walking. We didn't do that.
Yeah, well, I was going to talk about walking and hidden items.
Okay.
Because in order to find most of the hidden items, you have to walk to them, or kind of explore on foot. You can't really find them otherwise.
Yeah, walking was a very uh, I felt it was a balanced mix between Battlefield 3 / Mirror's Edge type thing, where it'll animate your arms, it'll show you vault, it'll show your feet if you vault over something, and if you the camera literally would be placed on a person's forehead. If the person ends up rolling, the camera will roll along with it, and it will tumble the body, which actually complements another element of the game, which is the you're constantly running around, collapsing structures, very much in an Uncharted sense, and the fact that and imagine first person Uncharted where you're trying to escape from a collapsing structure and you're falling, you're tripping all over the place. The camera stays in perspective with where you realistically would be seeing.
Yeah, no, they did a really good job on that. I was really impressed with their engine.
It was again one of the nice little touches that made the game aesthetically appealing.
Yeah, no, like the whole arm motion with running and everything. Yeah, it's gorgeous. I will not doubt Far Cry 3 is gorgeous, like environmental and like physics stuff. It's a beautiful game.
It was very, very, very fluid and very realistic as far as person movement.
Right. But like I said earlier, in order to you walk around most of the time or do a lot of the jumping in order to find hidden items in the map, which take the form of, let's see, there's memory cards, relics, and letters. Are the three main ones?
I'm aware of them. I actually didn't give them much thought.
I'm just bringing them up. There's just a ton of them.
Oh yeah, no, it's more for background story and it gives it a little depth, but it's not, in my opinion at least, it's not mandatory, and it's not really necessary to complete the experience.
No, I mean relics just gave you kind of a spiritual look at the island. The letters were kind of the World War II history of the island, and then memory cards were more of the more recent stuff.
It also, I'm pretty sure it gives you experience, right?
Yeah, it gives you a ton.
Another way to level if you don't enjoy the combat so much.
Yeah, and with that, let's go into combat. It's very simple in this game. It's shoot or stealth, but very creative in how you can approach both those.
Yeah, the shooter element is it's industry standard. It's just
point click,
point shoot, hip fire is less accurate, obviously. As far as the stealth component you mentioned, there's the takedown, which we covered earlier, taking down from a glider, but
you sneak up behind them and you stab them.
Yeah, basically, it's context sensitive. You can expand on that by purchasing skills. The basic knife execution you can follow up very quickly by chaining it, or you can pull the clip on a grenade, or you can throw the knife at a slightly farther target that you can execute via that you can chain because of the proximity, or you can do it from the air or from a cliff. Lots of ways to be stealthy about it, if you want to approach it from that angle.
Right, but it works really well for the game. I mean, it gives you it's not clunky at all.
Yeah,
especially stealth.
Yes, especially with stealth. Another element that contributed to that was there's a system that involves line of sight, the detection system.
Yeah.
There's a meter that builds, and if it fills, obviously they've spotted you. And the way to eliminate that is to break a line of sight by hiding in the foliage or running far enough away.
Or behind buildings or something.
Now, it's pretty much the only way to either break aggro when you're in combat, or just disengage, basically.
Okay. Yeah. Like I said, I liked how it worked in this game. I thought they did a really good job with it. So let's go into skills now, since we've kind of brought that up a couple of times. The game has 3 skill trees. One is more for health. Let's see, I'm trying to remember. The middle one's health and mid-range combat, right?
Yeah. Well, first off, they're named. They're
in
the shark and the spider. The one you're referring to, I believe, is the shark.
Shark's the middle. Spider's the first one.
Spider is the stealth, and a lot of the more
long range.
No, I thought it was
the long range guns. Or is that Heron?
That's the Heron. Yeah, the stealth. The spider is more for stealth, as the more creative takedowns.
Yeah.
And maybe speed and silence on that side. The Heron is what focuses on long-range weapons and long-range takedowns.
Yeah, as well as mobility, as I recall, kind of
Yes.
getting around. And then the Shark is health and survival.
Yes. And one thing I do want to mention is that this skill tree, I very much like that it is represented by a. They say it. Tatau is the word they use in the game, but it's essentially a tattoo on your left arm. Uh,
Which is awesome.
yeah, it builds like the more elaborate, obviously, your tattoo is, the more skills you have. And story-wise, there's a place in it as the Tatau represents your affiliation with the native islanders that draw power from the island, very much like you are doing by developing your Tatau. It's a nice little excuse for all the abilities that you gain uh, in a real world, in a realistic context.
And it just looks cool. Let's just be honest. The tattoo looks cool when you get the new one. It shows your arm and it shows the new tattoo on. It looks awesome.
It does, and I really hate that you can't look at it.
Yeah.
Two on the menu, but to look at my arm is by hang gliding and looking to the left at the arm.
Yeah, I really wish you could just kind of look at it every now and then, or there would be some emo or button you can push and he would pull out his arm so you could look at it, because the tattoo looks really cool, especially once you get enough skills. Like, it starts off very basic, and then the more, like you said, the more skills you get, the bigger and bigger and the more elaborate it gets, and it just looks really cool. I'm waiting to have the whole thing done, because you can get all the skills in the game.
I feel this thing's it's like a nice little opportunity for light cosplaying. You know, it'd be cool.
Yeah.
You know, to at least put some henna tattoos on or something that look like the tattoos. It's like, yeah, this is from Far Cry.
Yeah, that'd be cool. The other thing is, like I said, the skills system for me I didn't feel like it was like a talent skill tree. It was more of just kind of a perk system, because none of them you really needed. They just made the game easier and kind of gave you a little bit more creativity.
Mhm.
But, it still worked well, and it wasn't restricting, except one second. Sorry about that. Early on, you can only have so many until you get to another point, and then it unlocks another set, or the next area set. And originally, I didn't know this. It wasn't until lately that I finally found
because
out.
you didn't care about the skill tree until you got to that point. I mean,
Well, I didn't care about the story missions because I was doing all the side stuff, because all it says is you must complete more missions in order to unlock this skill. So I thought, okay, I have to do enough side quests to unlock this skill. So I started doing side quests.
like, no, progress with the story. At the very least, up to that part with this woman named Citra, who you'll encounter. The whole objective with her is that she'll unlock your hidden power, which basically is just another way of explaining the mechanic of giving you access to more tattoos and more skills.
But other than that, like I said, because by the time I got to Citra, I had like everything unlocked and like 3 extra skill points I couldn't use, so that was bugging me. Once I got to Citra, that solved that problem was gone. Now I don't have enough skills because that unlocks like 95% of the tree. There's only like I think 4 skills in each tree you can't get.
Yeah.
Anything else on that?
On the skill tree, no. I just think it's a very clever way to visually represent your progress with skills, and it complements the aesthetics of the game as well.
Right. Okay. And with that, we're going to move on to the next bit of conversation, which we've talked about, which is bases. Every area with a radio tower tends to have about 2 bases. Every time you take over one of these bases, you get access to like a weapon shop and quick travel option to it. Yeah, it's very nice, as well as open missions. It also opens some missions.
The main point of doing this is because you have to the mission objectives get further and further from your original home base. And while theoretically you could drive, glide, boat, swim, walk to each of these objectives, it is difficult to get to, no matter what your progress is in the game. I mean, you might be able to get there and take everyone out, but it'll be very time consuming. And by the time you get to your mission objective, you might not have enough ammo or health to survive it.
So they're needed.
Yeah, the purpose of capturing the base is to make travel easy throughout the island, make weapons accessible nearer to your current objective, and simplify, its completion.
Right.
I know I'm making it sound all technical and awesome.
It's not.
Pretty sure that's industry standard for RPGs as well, I would imagine.
Eh.
Based on the few that I've played.
So, No, not really. So anyway, in order to unlock these bases, they're all enemy controlled, and you must kill every single person in that base in order to take control of it. The best way to do it is obviously not being seen, because every base has an alarm. If that alarm is triggered, they call for reinforcements, and it makes your life a living hell sometimes.
Yes, I remember having to fight at least 3 waves of reinforcements just to capture one base, all because I missed one alarm.
Yeah.
You have the option of either shooting them out from a distance, the alarms themselves out from a distance, or if you manage to sneak onto the base and disable it manually, they'll disable all of them, and they will be able to not call. They will not be able to call for reinforcements.
Right. But the nice thing about this game is, I mean, if you don't mind the reinforcements, you can totally just go run and gun and take everything out.
Yeah, it's a nice little. Again, it's another way to be open-ended about how you can complete that objective. I mean, it's a recurring objective, capturing the bases, but I initially started by sniping out most of the enemies, and after a while, I got boring. So I decided to be a little more creative about it and try sneaking in, trying out the different takedowns I unlocked. And when that got boring, I would seriously just raise the alarm and take them all on.
I like animals. Animals
Yeah,
and
no,
bases are my favorite.
that too. Yeah, occasionally you will encounter a base in which they have a caged animal. Lord knows why, but
Hey, if they have a bear in their base, that's awesome, because they like bears, and it makes my life easy, because that bear will take out like 4 members of their team.
I'll take them out. I'll take out all of them. Yeah, and don't raise the alarm for that either.
No,
So
animals are random.
it's just a matter of shooting the cage, and that will free the animals, and that will unleash hell upon your enemies. You can either see if the animal can do it by itself, or if you go in there and support the animal. Provided you're willing to either take out the animal afterwards yourself or get away. It's a completely viable option. Or if you're like me and there's no animals in the base, you bring animals in the base. There was one particular base where I aggroed maybe 3 Komodo dragons from the outlying area and ran them into the base with me. And they took out a fair chunk of the villains in there, which was fun.
And I want to make a note of this, because I want to bring it, because I forgot to mention this, is with bases, and technically with all of the gameplay, is if you want to, you can track enemy movement with a camera. Is if you see them with a camera, it'll like put a little thing over their head, and then you can track their movements.
Yeah, either with the camera or a scope.
Scope, yes, and it makes your life figuring out how to do things. Like if you really want to go stealth, it's required, because it'll tell you, you can kind of follow them and make sure that they're nowhere near. But also with
well, once they're spotted, they're marked to you forever.
Yeah.
The other alternative is to craft a syringe. We didn't mention syringe. There was a syringe system earlier. Basically, there's an herb gathering system in the game wherein you can craft health syringes, combat syringes that help you with combat, syringes that help you with hunting. And what we were getting at is that there's one particular syringe that will let you see your enemies no matter where they are,
which is useful.
Yeah.
But I mean, back to kind of my experience with animals and bases is, I remember like I was scoping out with the camera, marking my targets and figuring out, okay, I'm going to go through this way, take out this guy, and ordering it off. And then all of a sudden, like a leopard, I think it was a leopard or a pack of dogs, just like rushed the base, just randomly. I'm like, okay, I'll just sit here for a little bit, let them do it. I don't know where they came from or why they did it, but they took out like 4 or 5 guys in that base. There's maybe 2 guys left. I just went in, shot them both.
Yeah, I've had that happen where, I mean, I'm approaching a base and suddenly they're dealing with a tiger and they leave the mounted gun unattended.
Ah.
So I get on the mounted gun and take them all out. It's like, okay, thank you, tiger. Run away now. So that was a fun mission.
Like I said, animals in this game make everything better.
Yep. Yeah, if there's one good credit to the game, or like I will repeat, is the animal AI. It's really well done. Very, very much an important part of the gameplay to Far Cry 3.
Right. And with that, I think that's all of the gameplay. Am I right, or is there anything else that we missed?
No, I think we covered just about everything.
All right. And so normally now we would go into the multiplayer portion of the game. However, because it's Ubisoft, it requires a online pass to play. We're all poor, so we all rented the game from GameFly, because that's how we get about 90% of the games we review.
Yeah, thank you very much, GameFly, friend of the show.
Yes, thank you, GameFly. He saved me so much monies. So anyway, because of that, we were not able to play the multiplayer, unfortunately.
which is unfortunate because I have been hearing good things. I mean, the multiplayer, I don't know, that's still up in the air, but I'm hearing good things about the co-op and basically the collaborative mission. Time-wise, takes place before the events of Far Cry 3, but four players working together on this same island to complete objectives sounds nothing short of enjoyable. So.
Yeah, and I would like to. Like I said, I would have liked to try out the multiplayer, but
Oh, one thing I had heard about the multiplayer, a nice little, and again, a nice little touch for the game, was the winners get to have the option of either executing or freeing the top player of the opposite team. It enters a little mini cutscene wherein you get to you basically watch your team wail on the ace player from the other team.
oh, now I really want to try the multiplayer because people would be suffering at my hand, even though I'd probably be the person that would be tortured because I'd be on the losing team, but probably do fairly good. Maybe I don't know. I'm not good at multiplayer first person, so I don't know. But I'd always love to torture people. That'd make my day. And I'm pretty sure everybody else. I don't know who would free the enemy top player. That seems kind of like they're not really giving you a choice. It's like you can torture the top player, or just let him go.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure most gamers would go torture the bastard.
At the very least, I recommend looking up the footage. It's just hilarious to see.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. So anyway, maybe one day Ubisoft will do what I'm hoping EA is starting with their online patches, which is give me a 2-day free pass to test it. If you can do that, that'll erase most of my problems with online passes and games. But until then, why are you doing this to me? It makes my life for reviewing these games not as fun. Because like I said, I like doing the multiplayer for most of these games. They tend to be fun. So with that, I think that we're done. Thank you, Impressions.
We're gonna rate the game as well.
Oh, that's right. Now's where we rate it. How did I forget that? So we do a buy rent pass system here at Rule of Three. Buying it means that we totally think it's worth the $60 or $50 or however much the game costs to play it. It's worth the price of admission. Renting means that it was good for rent, or you should wait till it goes on sale for like half or something on Steam. And then pass means we just didn't like it. Doesn't mean that it wasn't a bad game unless we said so, but it tends to mean that it's a game that you don't need to play. It's not that. It's not like It's not that. Oh, it's okay to bad, I guess would be the best way to say it. It's not necessary to play it.
Your life will not be incomplete.
Yeah, you're not missing anything. So with that, I'll start off with Sinister's review. He gave this game a rent. He just didn't care for it. He does like how the game works. He couldn't get into it as much, so he gave it a rent. Impressions, what did you give it?
I will give it a buy. As far as the story, the single player experience is concerned, it is a very solid game, very well polished. As far as what I'm hearing, it is is Far Cry finally done right, despite the failures of Part 1 and 2. I feel it's maybe as far as the story, maybe not so much high replay value, but it is a good experience the first time through, regardless. And especially since it's an RPG, I am surprised that I would give this game a buy rating. In addition, also buying will give you access, obviously, to the online experience with multiplayer and co-op. If they're anything at all like the main game, it's definitely worth shelling out the full price for the online code.
Right, and then I also give it a buy. Once again, I also thought the single player experience was really well done. It was really polished. The game's gorgeous. The storyline's is okay. Like I said, it gets kind of wonky later, but it's still gripping. The characters are good. Game mechanics were fun. I couldn't really find anything that I could go, oh, this sucks. This is just bad. Everything I thought was pretty good. I thought it was a really well made game, and I like what Ubisoft did with this one.
Probably the only thing that bugged me about it was the healing thing, where if you have a syringe, you use it automatically. You can't heal manually. Which we didn't mention, actually.
That's right. We mentioned in the original. We didn't mention in this.
Yeah, very quickly then, before we end our show. Whenever you heal yourself and you don't have any health syringes, it simply takes a matter. It's simple matter of digging out the bullet from your arm, or putting tape on your arm, or relocating your dislocated thumb and shoulder and wrist. Which is a little violent, I would imagine, to some people, but it's just fun to think that, oh, all I had to do is fix my hand and I'm good to go for another round of combat.
Right, and the question is, why is it always the same finger in the same area of the hand that always gets the bullet or broken?
Yeah.
Silly,
The
game,
limitation.
silly.
Yeah, the limitations of technology.
Yep. So with that, we're really gonna end the show. Once again, thanks Impressions for joining us. Sorry, Sinister, that the original went out and you could not be here. But you'll be back next week, and hopefully we never have this bug again.
It's okay. I didn't like the game anyways.
Well, he liked it. He just didn't think it was he just didn't care for it as much. He plays every now and then. I guess he didn't really care for it. That's why he gave it a rent, because he does. Anyway, so next week we will be gone because it's the holidays.
Look forward to our best of 2012 review.
Yes, the week after is the best of 2012 award show, where we'll be naming games that deserve awards.
Which actually was pre-recorded, so we did completely fail to mention Far Cry in that review.
Yes, because Far Cry came out too late because this guy here is going to Japan and won't get back till after the New Year.
I apologize, but no, not really. I don't.
Yeah, so he won't be back until next year when we do the second review of the year, which will be Devil May Cry, the new DMC game.
But again, as far as the countdown is concerned, I would like to give that an honorable mention to Far Cry. I'm sure it would have at least found a spot on one of the lists we created then. But since we made it first, we're not going to go back and redo that one as well.
Yeah, but it's just like I said, Far Cry just came out a little too late for the show, but it probably would have gotten something because this is a really well made game. And I think that's it. So if you liked what you heard, you can subscribe to our channel up above. You can leave comments if we missed something, or answer one of our questions we had that we couldn't figure out. Make sure to check out our website, rulo3.com, for the written portions. And our Twitter will be a little bit more active. I'm going to be a little bit more on that starting this week. It won't be so much games we're reviewing, but it'll be more constant updates on when we are reviewing a game, when I'm playing it, and just I play a lot of games, so it'll be a lot of random, like, oh, I'm playing this game's awesome, or I'm just playing this for nostalgia, stuff like that. Nothing real cool, but follow us on that anyway, because it does there will be updates as well. Also on our Facebook and everything like that. And with that, we're gonna call it a day. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.